Welcome back to Face the State. I'm Ariana Bennett. Thank you for staying with us. Well, if you've been to the VA hospital in Reno, you may not have noticed the house next door. Now, for many years, that house has meant peace of mind for families whose loved ones are undergoing treatment at the hospital. It gives them a place to stay, in most cases at no charge to them. But the need for that service is growing. Noreen Leary with the Veterans Guest House is here now to talk about all that. Noreen, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. This is so great.
Oh, no, we just love you guys. I mean, I think it's not something that we always think about, but when we have one VA hospital, for hundreds of miles, for a lot of people who need treatment, that's a trip. And
Absolutely.
that means a trip for the whole family.
Absolutely. When you and I go to the doctor and he says, go get a test and come back in tomorrow, we got to move our schedules about. But if you live 200-300 miles away, that's a whole nother ball game. How are you going to do that and be back tomorrow? And what are you going to do? And if you don't have the money to stay someplace?
And if people are sick and they get admitted and their families don't want to be far away from them. So that's where you guys come in.
That's where we come in.
And it's a really cool facility. So maybe, why don't you tell us a little bit of what you do, and we'll put some video up so people can see what it looks like.
Great.
We'll take a little tour.
That's wonderful. And I want to try to dispel a few misconceptions about us. One is, it is the families. That's how we started back in the early 90s when they found a woman and her children had slept in the car in the parking lot of the VA Medical Center when her husband was in the center, in the hospital, and they didn't have means to go anywhere else. So it started out as being what they kind of called the spouse house. And so it is for the families who come to visit. When you're sick, you want your mom, right? You want somebody to help you, be nice, can bring you your soup, all those kind of things. So and scientifically, it's established that with your family around, you get better quicker. So that's one of the things we do. The second thing we do is the veterans themselves. They're in the same boat. If they have to come in for back-to-back appointments, or the doctor says stay over, or they come in thinking they've got a problem and the doctor said no, stick around, I'll see you tomorrow. Cataract surgeries. So the veterans come and stay with us up to 8-9 weeks of radiation and other cancer treatments that they might be having.
How many people can you house at once?
We have 17 beds.
Okay.
So, if somebody has children or something, sometimes we'll do the sleeping bag on the floor or the air mattress or something. Continuing on, the third group that we serve, the family is so important to the veteran. So if the immediate family member of a veteran is the one who's ill, then we're going to work with that family as well for them to have the support. Whether it's the one that's ill. We've had couples where the wife has breast cancer, the male is the veteran, and the treatment is at Renown. They've got to stay someplace for those treatments for weeks. And so we help them out as well. They stay with us as well.
You guys have so much demand. I understand you've even had some overflow. What do you do with that?
Last year alone, we had 730 people who we had to send, thankfully, to the Sands Casino, who comps us rooms for our overflow.
Which is amazing.
It's just amazing. And they've been helping us for years, and we couldn't be where we are today without their help. I mean, I said we had 17 beds. We've had nights where 35, 36. In fact, I think tonight we're at 26 people that we've found reservations for. So,
oh my goodness.
It's a busy place, and I also want to say it doesn't matter what medical facility you're being cared for at. If you're on private insurance or on Medicare or something where you're not using the VA facility, we're there for you too. So. Everybody should know that we're around.
So that demand is growing, and
Absolutely.
I understand there is a plan in place to meet this demand. Tell me about the expansion plans.
We've been looking at this for a while, and fortunately we have been able to acquire property immediately adjacent to where we are now. And we have the main house on the corner and then a little house that we've been using since 2012. And we will tear that one down, and we have a house next door we'll tear down. And we'll build a 12,000 square foot facility, connect it to the two-story house that's there that was built in 2004, and we'll go from 17 beds to 33.
Yeah, okay, so let's take a look if we have a rendering of it. Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
Okay, so the one on the right is the current building?
No, the one on the right will be, the one on the far left is the existing building.
Okay.
On the corner of Locust and Taylor. And then we'll have in the middle, we'll have the living room, dining room, a big double kitchen there. And then on the right-hand side, it's actually a full basement and two-story where our offices finally will be in the same place, which will be fun. And then rooms that'll go down the on the first floor and all of the second floor. So we've tried to accommodate things. Our house is set up so that there's 2 beds in each room and there's a Jack and Jill bathroom. What we're finding, particularly with PTSD individuals, sleeping in a room with someone else doesn't work for them. So we will have a number of single rooms where they will have that privacy.
Gosh.
So we've tried to accommodate what we've learned over the, well, I've been there since 2004. So
yeah, a little bit of a changing landscape. Do you have a lot of people coming in who have that need, PTSD, need to sleep alone?
we have a lot of PTSD where they're just, you know, there's an edge there, and we see a lot of people, about once a month they come in for a group meeting or meeting with their therapist to deal with whatever their issues are as it relates to PTSD. And so, it's everything. We see people with everything, whether it's cancer, whether it's, just diabetes, whether it's just annual physical, whatever it might be, they're probably staying with us.
Okay, so what is the big price tag on this expansion?
This right now the price tag, we've got 90% drawings, and we have a price tag of $4.2 million.
And how much do you have funded?
We're closing in on half. We've
Okay.
actually, we're closing in on half. The community's been great. Hopefully the community will continue to be great. We've got our fingers out in a lot of different areas. We've recently partnered now with the Nevada Military Support Alliance. They're going to be assisting us finding funding avenues that they have that we don't have. And so I think this is going to come together. The board has agreed that absent something happening in our final numbers being out of somewhere other than 4.2 million, that we will start construction as soon as we get our permits from the city. I'm hoping that's going to be in May.
Great news.
Yeah, and it's a 10-month construction, so we'll be opening up early 2018.
Yeah, and especially important given the fact that the new Northern Nevada Veterans Home that we just talked about in the previous segment is coming, because people visiting their family there will need a place to stay.
That's part of the rationale, and very honestly, with individuals in long-term care facilities, if the grandkids want to come see grandpa or grandma, they can come on the weekend when there's no school and everything. Friday and Saturday nights are our lowest nights in terms of occupancy, and that's the highest hotel rates here in town. So it's a great fit to help families out to be with their families. So that was one of our rationales, as well as, again, we had a 9% increase this year over last year. We've served over 70,000 guest nights since inception in 1994. 20,000 of those are in the last 4 years.
Wow.
So that the growth, it just keeps coming.
And part of the concern, too, if this kind of service doesn't exist, is that veterans might forego care, right? They can't afford to come and stay in a hotel, so they might not get the care they need.
They won't get it. They'll go into debt. We have a couple that stays with us now. Before they knew anything about us, they actually had run up such a bill they had to file bankruptcy after the gentleman had a major stroke. So they're so thankful for us to be there now and for this community support. And it's important to know, I'm so thankful for this community, and we all know all the things that are done here, but this is the only facility of its kind to serve this in this country that we know about, that we've been able to find. There are others, but they're a little bit more restrictive in what they do. We're here for the veteran and their families. And what more could you do for these individuals who step forward to help this country? And
now, I know people are going to see this and they're going to want to help you. So tell me how people can help. I assume you're taking donations.
Absolutely. If you want to talk about it, we've got lots of ways for recognition. You can, if you're in a position where you can donate a substantial amount of money, you can sponsor a room in the house with, if you want your name on it, we'll do that. Some people do, some don't, but we have lots of options. The information is on our website, www.veteransguesthouse.org. And so look for Capital Campaign and you'll find information there. The renderings you'll find other things. Call me. Happy to chat with you and talk with you. And and even if you can only do a little, whether that's for our operations or, we appreciate everything that comes in the door. Whether it's that package of toilet paper, because trust me, we go through a lot of that, or a large check. Everything in between.
Absolutely. What about volunteers?
We love volunteers. We have some great volunteers who make really really mean beds, so or help us with our laundry. I mean, it's a home, and it is a home away from home for our veterans, and we we operate it as a home with a loving environment, and just like Wendy was saying about the camaraderie that comes about, and it does. Whether you're the spouse that's trying to support someone's ill and another spouse, they talk, or whether you served, it's amazing how many people find out they actually served on the same ship or in the same unit as we go along.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, we have about a minute left. What's your final message?
Wow. Which one? I just want to thank the community for what they've done so far. We couldn't be where we are. Many of them, if you remember in 2012, there was a Facebook voting thing with Home Depot Foundation. We won $250,000. That's being used to build this building. So we've been very careful with their funds. They come in, we use them wisely, and we appreciate all that everybody does, the dinners, everything else. So my words would be thank you.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you absolutely for all the amazing work that you do, Noreen. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it. All right, that is it for this episode of Face the State. But for more information on all of this, Noreen's contact information, past episodes, you can just head to our website. That's ktvn.com. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next week.